Happy New Year! I thought I'd go a little bit sparkly for the first episode of the new year. Now, please excuse the Christmas tree in the background. We will be taking it down tonight. It is just because, even though I know last day of December or whatever, we thought we'd leave it till the new year since we can't go out to celebrate. So, welcome to the Contented Narrative. So, this week's episode is our very first book review. So this is a book review of Joe Hill. He is actually the son of Stephen King. I have genuinely met him in Waterstones once in Leeds, and he was a delightful young man. I say young man. He was a delightful man. And I'll be looking at Heart-Shaped Box. Now, Heart-Shaped Box is a brilliant thriller. It's an absolutely fantastic thriller. So basically, it takes the ghost story and just amps it up. I mean, what else are you expecting, to be perfectly honest, if you're looking at the son of Stephen King? Now, interesting fact, obviously he wrote under the name of Joe Hill because he didn't want to be associated with his dad, but he has done such an amazing job of like striking it out on his own. I will be reviewing some of his other books, like someone has asked me for The Fireman, so that is on my list to reread. And yes, I say reread. I've got all of these books here. I reread all of them. But honestly, our main, it's such a fantastic book. So it basically starts with our main man, Jude. Now he's a typical kind of like rock star. You know, he was big on drugs. He had like that kind of bad attitude. And he has a collection of the macabre that gets sent to him from other people. So he doesn't necessarily collect the macabre. It gets sent to him and he kind of just keeps it because that's what his persona is. Within this collection as well, you also have, and obviously I appreciate that women are not collections, but he also has like this collection of women. And basically he does mention them, and they're these women that are typically like goth and kind of like edgy and things like that. He takes them on for a bit, and then when he gets bored of them, he just kind of tells them to pack their stuff, get on their way, and then he moves on to the next one. And again, as I said, women are not collections, I know that, but for the sake of the book, that's kind of what he's getting at. So then he gets given this chance to buy a ghost online. Who wouldn't? Do you know what I mean? Like, so basically he doesn't even think about it. He doesn't even think twice. He goes, yep, buy it. So he gets his little associate to buy the ghost for him. And this is when it all starts. So it's not at all what he was expecting. So, you know, in most like thrillers and ghost stories and horror films and everything like that, you get a brief period of respite where, you know, they're kind of building up to this big, you know, and then it just carries on from there and it just amps it up every. Joe Hill didn't write like that. So essentially this kicks off pretty much straight away. There is no respite whatsoever for this poor Jude character. And Mary Beth, who's the companion at the time, who he calls Georgia. So essentially he buys this ghost, it arrives, he sort of looks at it and goes, it's a bit funky. But he kind of just sticks it in the closet and forgets about it. And then he starts seeing the ghost. Now the ghost is an old man. He used to be a hypnotist when he was alive, and he could pretty much get anyone to do anything. He swings a razor blade on a long string there, which is terrifying in itself. And essentially he makes it quite clear to Jude that anyone that helps him, anyone that tries to help him in any way, shape or form, will die with Jude. So Jude's gonna die. Like, straight out, like, you know, the ghost is like, you're dead, but anyone else that helps you is dead. So this is your chance to be a decent human being and send them on their way. So honestly, I love the fact that Joe Hill kind of just straight away throws you in and goes, nope, you ain't getting no solace from me. And that honestly is what endeared me to him straight away, because I do sometimes get bored with that little prelude in horror films and things, because I know it's going to happen. You get the slow scares and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, like, I love Horton of Bly Manor, Horton of Hill House, and like, I mean, they're just the two recent TV series that I've watched, but it is kind of, you sat there going, oh, is that a ghost? And you get a little bit sort of like, oh, but this leaves nothing to the imagination. This straight away turns around and goes, you're in for a ride and I'm going to pull you along with me. And that I appreciate, because I love getting thrown straight into it straight away and going, oh. So what I love as well about this book is that it's never what you think it's going to be either. So he buys a ghost thinking, oh, he's just bought a ghost, you know what I mean? And it turns out that he's a malevolent spirit who deliberately looked at how to come back as a ghost. And then when he contacts the person that sold him the ghost, it turns out that only Jude was ever going to get the ghost. It was never going to be anybody else. So you sit there and go, okay. So the reasoning is because Jude's previous woman to Georgia, who's with at the minute, was with Jude and came back home and then ended up committing suicide. Now, obviously, the family then blames Jude for that, and the sister sends in the ghost. But again, it's not what you think it is. So as you go through the book, you get more and more pulled into this narrative, and you find out more, and it's insane, because you sat there and you're going, okay, so Jude deserves it because this woman was having problems. He didn't want to take the time to look after her. He sent her on her way. She went back home. She committed suicide because she couldn't deal with it anymore. But then you find out that that's not what happened. But the family blame Jude, but Jude's not to blame in any way, shape or form. And then it's sort of like you see the progressions of the characters as well. So like Georgia, obviously that's not her real name. Her real name's Mary Beth, but she's from Georgia, so Jude calls her Georgia. It'd be like someone going, "Oi, London." Do you know what I mean? It's bizarre. But yeah, so then you see this relationship bloom where Mary Beth is like, I'm not leaving you. You cannot handle this on your own. I will help you. And she knows that she's going to die as well because she's helping him. But you see the strength of resolve in her before you even see it in Jude. Like Jude he takes forever to do anything about it. But you also get like great descriptions in the book as well. There's a scene, there's a chapter in it where the ghost, Craddock, is coming after him. And as he's coming after him, Jude's dogs go for Craddock. But the way it's described is brilliant because you see the dogs and you see the ghost, but then apparently there's the like spectral dogs that are coming like out like a shadow almost, and they're attacking Craddock, and it's honestly brilliantly written. Now, when you get to the end, because obviously I'm not going to spoil it. This is just a book review saying whether or not you should read it. I'm not going to tell you the plot in its entirety. I'm not going to say how it ends. I'm not going to tell you sort of like the ins and outs. Just that when it does end, you feel complete. You feel like this has happened. This is the end. And when I met Joe Hill, I did ask him, and anyone that knows me knows that I love to talk. Obviously, I love to talk. So he asked people, have you got any questions? And I put my hand straight up in the air. I was the first one to ask a question. So I got a free t-shirt. So just, saying that. But I asked him, does he ever think of writing sequels to his books? Because the characters are so rich. They're so well thought. They're so well rounded. And you kind of sit there and go, I want to know what happens next. And even though the book completes itself and you're happy and it's done, you sit there and you still go, I want more. And this is what I love about Joe Hill as an author, because he completes the book, he completes the storyline, and it's so well written, and I can't put it down. I've reread this book several times. I recommend it to anybody. I actually bought this book for my dad for Christmas as well, simply because I just want to try and share this with everybody. I did also buy him The Fireman. He is the one that recommended me to reread it on this channel. But it's the fact that he will never then write a sequel. And he said this. He said, I'm not going to write a sequel because the fan fiction that people write about these characters is better than anything I can do. And if I write a sequel, I may not be able to do it justice. So he's really understanding in the fact that these stories are standalone stories. And I can't recommend this book enough. I really can't. It's a brilliant thriller. It's a brilliant ghost story. It has you on the edge of your seat. Literally every single time you think, you go, oh, we're going to get there. We're so close. And then you look at how much is left of the book and you go, no, we're not close. And when you get the end as well, and you honestly, you sit there and you feel so sated by the end of the story. And it's brilliant. Honestly, I give this book a 5 out of 5. It always has got a 5 out of 5. It's just a fantastic book. And I found this author, in fact, I didn't even find this author. Michael bought this book thinking it would just be a fun little book for me. And now we've got Obviously, you can't see the store, like the authors completely up there, but we've got quite a lot of Joe Hill's books there. Obviously, on the other side, you've got loads of Stephen King's as well. But it's just a brilliant book. And I would definitely recommend this to anyone. And if you can pick it up, pick it up. It sells on eBay, Amazon, Waterstones, literally anywhere. In fact, any of his books, as I said, I will be looking through the rest of his books sort of later on in the year. I don't want to do all Joe Hill, but this is definitely a must read. Well, thank you for watching my very first book review. I hope you had a lot of fun watching this. As I said, subscribe as well, so you're alerted whenever a new book. Oh my god, on about. Subscribe whenever a new video becomes live. And also, if you get a chance, leave below in the comments any books that you'd like me to read, or any films that you'd like me to do the book to film adaptation for. I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas period, and I hope you had a great new year. So join me next week where we'll be doing a book to film adaptation. So it'll go book review, book to film adaptation, and so on and so forth for the rest of the year. But thank you so much, and remember to, guys, always keep it contento.